Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport here on a thirsty Thursday. Once again, the Barnes and Tony show. New York is riding high in the sports world.
That's right.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Like you said, dude, crazy New York wins yesterday. Stoked to recap them today. And I definitely am thirsty, dude. No, it was actually me.
Wow.
I know. I thought I had it muted, dude. Oh, was it you too?
It was me. Yeah, mute just went on. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
But in any case, dude, stoked to be here. Thursday, weekend approaching. The sushi, Brian. The sushi, dude.
Oh, my God. Yeah, can't wait for that. Sushi X later. Let's go.
If you had to do one roll the whole time, what would you do?
Oh, it's always the firecracker, which is going to be your crab meat, shredded crab meat on top, and then the shrimp tempura.
Whoa.
And that's really all I need.
Wasabi?
No, soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
But I could just go with that one. I mean, the California roll's fine.
I could do it without that.
I could do an avocado roll, fine. But other than that, I don't like all this like tuna and all this stuff. Like I don't like raw fish. Honestly.
Oh, that's right.
I know a lot of people do like it, but it's just not me. I just feel like I like the other, because the shrimp tempura, like crispy, is just so good.
No, that is definitely my favorite for sure. I do get into the salmon rolls and the spicy tuna rolls. I feel like you would like a spicy crunch tuna. You ever have that with the crunch?
Probably at some point, but I'm very turned off by tuna. Like when someone has a tuna sandwich, just the smell of it just turns me off.
Oh, never mind. So you never did like tuna salad sandwiches? Oh no.
Oh no. No. What are we doing, Tony? All the good food you like, and you're talking tuna salad sandwiches. No, I know a lot of people like that. It's just, how you're just turned off to something from Jump. And
I get that.
Don't usually have it.
Too bad.
But yeah, there'll be a lot to get to. But I have to say, it's been a long time. I'm trying to give you like an analogy. Maybe the Lakers winning the title in 2020, but I would say, what the Knicks are doing right now is the most exciting thing in the NBA that I've experienced in a very long time. And it's two-faced. Number one, I mean, like you've always said, Tony, the New York aspect of it. And I know these Knicks fans, are hungry and have been waiting a while and have been doubted. And a lot of them doubted themselves coming into this series. So to have a 2-0 lead, to have multiple 20-point comebacks, it's unbelievable. And then, of course, the other side of it, seeing the Boston fans suffer, I think that's something that will never, very good there, get old, Tony, right?
No, that's correct, dude. Especially, like you said, I guess in my lifetime, like you said, or at least paying attention to basketball, I haven't seen anything as crazy as this, even though, like, obviously Sirius still up there, whatever. But to see, how certain everyone really across the board was about the Knicks struggling against the Celtics, people saying lucky to get to game 5. They got lucky. Even when they won game 1, the missing the three is never going to happen again. Game 2 is going to be totally different. I mean, the doubt is there, and it's still going to be there, I'm sure. Even when the Celtics go on the road here,
the Knicks maybe are barely favored in the series, or it's tied on ESPN Bet, something like that, which is just crazy. I mean, they're up 2-0,
right?
And Dave was talking about the stats on DNR this morning, that it's like the team that wins 2 road games to start a series wins the series 85% of the time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So to have the odds be even or around there, just doesn't, seem like it equates. And it really goes back to this, a couple of things went into my thought that maybe, going into this series, they had more of a chance than people thought, besides the fact that they got beaten down 4 times by them in the regular season.
Right.
But, with Brunson, since Brunson's been on the team, I think there's just been a belief in this team, that hasn't been there in a very long time. I really think he's brought the team together. I mean, the unity with this team, the Villanova angle.
Yeah.
You could tell they all love playing with each other.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I mean, like you said, I mean, the come from behind victories, down 20 points. I mean, that's not easy to come back from, and that's not just talent. You can put 5, of the greater basketball players on the court, and they get down 20 and they don't come back. It
Right.
very much is a mental aspect to this game. And like you said, Brunson has got that mentality, especially, I mean, not for nothing, dude. I almost did a double take. I think in the third quarter, what do you have? Like 11 points for the entire game until the third quarter. And then obviously made his big shots in the fourth, those free throws as well. That's all grit, dude. You know, it's great to see.
And it's funny too, you think about the Knicks recent memory. I mean, what were the glory days, even though, a championship, hasn't been since 68, is it 68 or 69, something like that?
I think it's 68.
68. But the 90s were the last time where, people were really riled about the Knicks and the way that they're playing these
73.
73. Okay. But the way that they're playing, it reminds you of 90s basketball, the low scoring, and
Bucket knew it.
And you mentioned Brunson. I mean, he only had 17 overall for the game.
Crazy.
But the defense. How about Mikal Bridges? Everybody, giving him a hard time all year. The 5 first-round picks. Can't wait to get rid of him. All this stuff, and back-to-back games, he's ending the game on a turnover on defense. That's unbelievable. He scored all of his 14 points in the fourth quarter. This is exciting stuff. Now, I don't know if you heard, from listening to Rick and Dave before, but the get-in price now for the, game 3 on Saturday, 3:30. We talked about the drinking at 9, Tony. $860 to walk into the door. Game 3, Madison Square Garden. Obviously, I mean, the enthusiasm, the atmosphere, it's just the optimism. It's just through the air right now for the Knicks.
Do you think it's worth the price of admission?
If you're like how I am with the Yankees, yes. I would say.
So for you,
that type of fan. Oh, well, yeah. I'm not even really a Knicks fan. I'm just admiring what they're doing, and loving Boston going down. I mean, what else do you want me to say, right?
No, yeah, absolutely, dude.
And I think you're in the same boat, right? I mean,
I wouldn't pay that money to go.
No,
there,
but
dude.
I'm just saying in terms of that you're not a Knicks fan, but you're admiring what they're doing.
Yes,
in
admiration, all-time high.
Yeah, and I really think it plays into, like I said, we do this all the time in like the NFL too. It's not a team wins once and then we think they're never going to lose a series again. It's just not how it works. There's just so much parity these days. So it's great to see the Knicks in this position, and Saturday afternoon is going to be much must watch at the Garden.
Love the time of the game, by the way.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great, dude. What do you think about, like, from the Celtics angle, though? I mean, what like, other than make their threes, they need to do better? I mean, like,
well, make their threes, but then also just make any shot. I think they shot under 20%. During the time when they were up 20 rest of the game. So it's just, I mean, have some type of execution.
Yeah, dude.
Not allow the Knicks to make all these shots. So they're not playing good defense down the stretch.
They're not. Well, I mean, like, do you think it would benefit them to maybe stop throwing up so many threes? I mean, not for nothing. I still think, once again, like most of their shots are being 3-pointers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, though, that's been their calling card all season, so you're not going to just go away from that.
So you continue to double down on the strategy, same strategy.
I mean, they haven't changed their way all season. They're not going to change now,
right?
But clearly, I mean, it's not working. So it's going to be interesting, but definitely exciting stuff here for the Knicks. I do see we have a bunch of comments if you want to get to those.
Oh, yes, we do. Of course, dude. Early and often, Brian Barnaby says no Yankee comeback / walk off in the title, dude. Question marks, exclamation points. You got problems.
I mean, was it not? I mean,
game.
I say walk off. Usually, I would say that if the Mets walk it off, you put that in the title.
I don't think I have this year.
I mean, Josh B probably already looked it up, so we'll have to check.
And then Michael Buckter, who is riled during the gaming corner. We were watching the game here as well during the episode. Jason Tatum got stripped at the end there. Was a phenomenal defensive play. Forgot to have a late night contact with Ernie last night, man. And then let's see, keeping those boundaries, Michael, sign of maturity. Brian, Michael says no Barnes. I only didn't have the late night contact with Ernie because I fell asleep last night. All the hoopla about the Celtics. Moderation, Michael, moderation. Josh B, there we go, laughing his ass off. What's up? The effing Knicks. You know, he was riled last night. Probably stayed up all night, honestly, dude.
Oh,
just
yeah.
no doubt. Absolutely. And then let's see. Kev Do also, let's effing go. We want to smoke F Boston. He says, yeah. And then Michael Thief says, let's go. Legends.
Michael saw him on my way in. He's jacked up.
He is jacked up, dude. Surprises anyone about the Knicks, no doubt. My mother says, hi, fellas. Good morning. Ernie says, yeah. And then Kev Do, which I don't know, like, if he's like trying to be like, no big deal here, but he says, okay, they missed 33 pointers, same shit, we won.
I don't know, maybe that we mentioned that they missed the 3 pointers, but no, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I mean, it's sure, like that's contributing to the win, but the Knicks are stepping up on offense and defense late third quarter and all fourth quarter last 2 games.
And I don't want to like speak for Kev Do here, but it does kind of seem like he's saying like, oh, they're missing their threes, that's why they're winning these games, like still a lot of work to do. Like, are you... Like, where are you at in terms of, like, Knicks winning the series now at this point?
I mean, I think they're going to. I mean, there's a reason why 85%, you know? I mean, it's not to say, I mean, I would expect, you know, the Celtics to win one of those games at Madison Square Garden, but I think they're going to go back to Boston down 3-1. So that's a tough spot to be. And usually when you're in that spot, you don't win a series. I think it's too much to lose 2 games, you know, at home. And then also blow 20-point leads in them.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the mental aspect, Jay, you know?
And then the mental aspect here for Derek Ho says, hi there, dude.
Robotics at its finest.
And Kev Do says, I guess this is in regards to the Yankees. Regular game season, come on.
Oh, right. But if it's regular season for the Mets and they walk it off, he's going nuts. So, yeah, the delusion and the one short-sightedness, I guess you could say out of Kev Do. But that's what we always see.
Josh B. LMAO, he says. And that's it, dude.
Yeah.
So, comments. People laughing, having a good time.
Great time to be alive. It's just a great time in sports. Absolutely. And you know what's funny? This is so, like, has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but heard this the other day. We forgot to do our picks the other day. You know, we had the Derby last weekend. I have to say, some of the weakest shit, Tony, that I've ever seen.
What? Sovereignty
wins the Derby and is not going to race in the Preakness next
Wait,
weekend.
really? I didn't know that.
And there was a stretch, I think they said 30 straight years where the Kentucky Derby winner ran in the Preakness every time. It's like not even going for the Triple Crown, talking about longevity of the horse, more races if they don't race right away. And it's like, obviously, let's not get this twisted. Any horse owner, they're in it to make money. How do you make money? You win a Triple Crown. So to go into the Preakness and just say, oh, no, we'll rest up for Belmont. I mean, that's terrible. You know, history, having a chance at history.
You know, who's the owner? Who's the owner, dude?
I don't know. You can look it up. But it's not like they were some 80-1 long shot to win this. I think they were the second or third shortest odds in the race last week. And it's a joke. At the end of the day, it's a joke. I mean, I don't know how you don't even attempt to go for history.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that, dude. I mean, they again, like, what's the point? Like,
yeah,
you know, then go race in other races. Like, get the fuck out of here. I guess it says sovereignty owner Godolphin.
Yeah.
Who the hell is that? Michael. Oh, wait, hold on. Michael Banahan, the director of USA Bloodstock for sovereignty owner Godolphin, said Mott would ultimately decide if the horse would be fit enough to race. That was 2 days
ago. I think it was just yesterday he announced it.
Wait, is there something wrong with the horse?
No. Just saying, just you get a run out of the horse if you get some rest.
That's wild, dude. That's bullshit.
Yeah. And speaking of bullshit, Kev Do, who's never wrong, says, nah, bro, you're wrong. It's a Knicks playoff game. Fuck the Mets right now. No disrespect to my team, but they have to have 100+ games to go now, so it wouldn't be crazy because the Knicks won. And it's like, well, that's why we were talking about the Knicks from the junk, Kev. I'm just saying that it's like, you know, we could be excited about the Yankees. Like, that's okay. Like, it's like that's okay too. So, anyway, speaking of that, I think it's a good transition time, Tony, to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes.
in New York sports yesterday. And the New York Yankees playing a part in that, a walk-off 4-3 extra inning win, excuse me, over the San Diego Padres. And this was just an absolutely, magnificent game here, start to finish, a absolute pitcher's duel as well. And, we talked going into this game that, obviously Max Fried has been arguably the best pitcher in baseball.
Oh, my God, ridiculous.
But Dylan Cease has been struggling. And Dylan Cease actually at one point in this game, was out dueling Max Fried. So, a lot of strong pitching early. The only offense, if you look at this game, I believe it was as my computer is
top of the fourth.
No, yeah, top of the fourth. But through the first 4 innings, was a Jackson Merrill, a homer to right center. Fried missing with an off-speed pitch, knew it right away, 417 feet to right center. So that gave San Diego, a 1-0 lead. And that was really the only offense, that we would see until, we got till the 7th inning. So going into the 7th inning, Max Fried had pitched, 6 innings of 1-run ball, dominating this Padres lineup like he has really done every game, as a New York Yankee. I mean, and speaking of maxes and parallels, I mean, obviously it's early here. But it feels like in terms of like a long-term pitching contract, one of the best signings since Max Scherzer with the Nationals, just how dialed in and how much of a fit Max Fried has been with the New York Yankees. So, in going into this, I was expecting that, he would pitch somewhere around, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, and he outdoes that. He goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and even 100 pitches. And the one mistake we mentioned, the home run to Merrill, but ERA remains a stout 105. So just an absolutely unbelievable performance out of Fried. And it's a shame that he didn't get the win, and obviously that was because of how well Dylan Cease pitched. So, like I had mentioned, going into, the bottom of the 7th, and it's interesting, these 7th innings, really the turning point in both of these games the last 2 nights. So after Paul Goldschmidt grounds out, so we have 6 1/3 no-hit innings, for Dylan Cease, Cody Bellinger jumps on a fastball up in the zone, ready for it, 373 feet to right field to tie the game at 1, 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So after he had whiffed at a similar pitch the pitch before, he connects, and it's nice to see Cody Bellinger, who had another hit in this game, really starting to produce here, get comfortable in the middle of the lineup. When you have him going and you couple that with Goldschmidt, Rice, and Judge, it really, lengthens this lineup, and not to mention Trent Grisham, we'll talk about in a second. So that was the only offense there in the 7th for the Yankees. So we go to the 8th, 1-1, and this is where you were thinking, here we go. Again, in terms of, being in a game and had the bullpen kind of falling apart here. Ian Hamilton comes out to pitch the 8th inning. And, obviously the Yankees have used a lot of relievers over the last couple of days. So the bullpen, being a little short, usually Hamilton, you wouldn't pitch in the 8th. But he walks Tatis, gets a rise to ground out, but then walks Machado. So you got 2 on, 1 out. And, the Padres had Jackson Merrill up, and he loops a single to center, scored Fernando Tatis Jr. So giving the Padres the lead, so getting that, hit off of Luke Weaver, was surprising. But again, just like the other night, you're putting him in a tough situation. Then he gives up a sac fly to Bogarts to make it 3-1. So you're going to the bottom of the 8th, down 3-1. You're not feeling great because we mentioned, despite the implosion that the Padres bullpen had on Tuesday, they have had one of the best bullpens in the league. Jason Adam, the former reliever for the Rays, comes in. He walks Oswaldo Cabrera to start the inning. So how many times leadoff walk, lead to trouble? And the Yankees, go to Trent Grisham off the bench pinch hitting for Yorbat Vivas. And Grisham has just been unbelievable this year. And on a 1-2 pitch, a changeup, Grisham ready for it, that short swing, the no batting gloves, inside, just ready for it, rips it to right field, 387 feet, 40,000 plus there. And that ties the game. So Yankees tying it up 3-3. After that, a couple, actually 3 straight ground outs to end the inning. Luke Weaver pitching the ninth. They had Devin Williams up, but that was going to be if they were trailing, he would pitch the ninth. But Weaver stays in and only throwing, I think, 6 pitches in the eighth, and he retires the side in order. Very important because 7, 8, 9, you didn't want to get to Fernando Tatis Jr. if you didn't have to. After Paul Goldschmidt pops up, Cody Bellinger, I mentioned second hit of the evening. So you had 1 on, 1 out, but unfortunately Volpe, it seemed like it might loop over second, but he pops out. And then Jason Dominguez also on 2 strikes, battling against Robert Suarez, one of the best relievers in the league, throwing over 100 miles an hour, followed out the catcher. So we go to extras, Devin Williams in, and all of us Yankee fans really just, bugging about this situation. But like I mentioned, the bullpen short, not many options to go to. And Martin Maldonado, the catcher, had made the last out, but they pinch run Brandon Lockridge. So he's placed on second base. And then you have Devin Williams pitching to Fernando Tatis Jr.
How about that?
You don't know what's going to happen, but how about this? 3 straight strikes, 2 looking, and then a strikeout swing on the changeup. The airbender really was moving. The fastball, Williams struggling with command, but the changeup was really dialed in. So he strikes out. Tatis. Brandon Lockridge steals third. So you have a runner on third, 1 out. He walks a rise. So you're thinking, okay, Machado up, maybe a double play in order. And he's actually able to strike out Machado on 4 pitches. And he starts him out, surprises him with a fastball up, a little out of the zone, so he couldn't get to it. Fouls off the change, threw another changeup low outside, but then gets him to strike out swinging on that changeup. So just unbelievable. This is the good side of Devin Williams that we really haven't seen this year. But when that changeup's going, the hitters know it's coming and still can't hit it. You thought there might be some trouble, though, because you still had first and third, 2 outs. Jackson Merrill up, obviously had homered earlier in the game. And on a 1-1 count, we mentioned the fastball, no control, hits him on the forearm. He ended up staying in the game. Looked like it hurt, but you're thinking, geez, bases loaded. A hit probably scores 2 runs. And again, here we go. Devin Williams blowing a game. But on a 3-2 count, after missing way out of the zone with the fastball, he gets him to swing at the changeup. He was so pumped up, yelling on the mound, and obviously the Yankees stayed crowd to their feet. So we go to the bottom of the 10th, 1 run to walk it off. Estrada pitching for San Diego, as well as Cabrera, who had pop-up bunted for an out, the last game, gets the bunt down in the first pitch. Beautiful bunt down the third baseline. So that advances Jason Dominguez to third base. And then instead of having Oswald Peraza hit, they go with J.C. Escar, the backup catcher, to pinch hit lefty on righty here. And he's able to hit a sacrifice fly. And I thought he really worked the count here well. It was on a 2-2 pitch, 98 miles an hour, but he's able to lift it to left field, far deep enough to score Jason Dominguez. So Yankees walk it off, take the series, win 4-3. So after the heartbreak on Monday, the Devin Williams implosion, he plays a huge role here in a Yankee win. Like I said, to win the series, they had dropped their past 2. So this was huge, and yet another come from behind victory. And you just love to see that. They hadn't had many this season. I believe this was their first walk-off of the year. And the way that Dylan Cease was pitching, the way Max Fried was pitching, it all combined to be a great win. Because you didn't want to waste that Fried start. And after losing that game Monday, you really didn't want to lose another close game. You don't. And the best part about this is, you win a game in which, you had 3 hits. So to be able to grind this one out was unbelievable. And like I said, Fried, all you could ask for. And the fact that Williams came through in a big spot, I think is huge for his confidence. You hope this propels him. But like I said, the last time he's had some good outings, let's not put him in the closer role. But I just think it's big for his confidence and to have him show that emotion on the mound after retiring the side there in the top of the 10th inning. We hadn't seen that emotion out of him. So him, stepping up, great to see Ascar get his first career walk-off. Max Fried, like I said, unbelievable. And then Trent Grisham. I mean, it's really ridiculous. A guy that's hit under 200 the last couple of seasons. The numbers that he's putting up, not playing every day, an OPS over 1,000, 10 home runs, and a 292 batting average for a guy whose career average is 217 and hasn't hit higher than 198 since 2021. It's unbelievable. It's like, you just think to yourself, did he need more regular playing time? Is that why he struggled so much last year? But he's been one of the Yankees' best hitters. So this was a great win. Great to walk it off. And it's nice you get an off day, like we mentioned. And then we're going west, Tony, to Sacramento.
Oh, boy.
For the 3 games there, 3 games in Seattle before the big series at Yankee Stadium against the Mets next weekend. But I mean, I know you saw a good amount of them, and I think he might have done okay in that wild card series against the Mets a few years ago.
He did great.
But, I mean, pretty surprising though to see Grisham perform like this, though. No?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if I recall correctly, I do think he did perform pretty well against us, and he was like, the unsuspecting, unsung hero sort of deal, batting 8th, 7th, 9th in the lineup, where you would think, pitchers, at the time, obviously. Scherzer, Verlander, whatever, were, maybe going to be like, oh, it's time to mop up the bottom half of the lineup. But no, this is the guy who's getting a hit, getting on base, like allowing the top of the lineup, Tatis, Machado, whatever, to then bring runners in, So I have seen a good amount of him. I guess Tommy Pham was probably in there too. Huh?
Yeah.
I have seen him bat well. So I don't know. I guess, like you said, maybe it was more about having consistent more ABs. It also does kind of seem like, again, I mean, obviously wild card series, big moments, but like you're seeing here with the Yankees, in a big moment, he can get you a hit. So he clearly is a guy who has a good mentality for coming up big.
Yeah. And you mentioned, the big moments. 7 of his 10 home runs this season have tied or given the Yankees the lead.
There we go.
So that defines a big moment. And listen, there's been a lot of talk about, when Stan comes back, playing time, how you're going to fit it all in. But it is a good problem to have. You have a lot of options that you didn't have last year. And Stanton, he even said yesterday he's hoping to return when he's eligible to come off the injured list on the 27th. And won't need that many rehab games to get going.
There we go.
But it's gonna be nice to have some right-handed thump in the lineup, and he was pumped up for Grisham's home run yesterday. So yeah, I mean, it's you feel good. It's just amazing what a swing game this was yesterday. Completely different feeling. If you're unable to take that game and take that series yesterday, 2.5 game lead in the American League East, and ready for a nice off day here, rest up, bullpen, and then time to take on the A's, and we'll face 2 of our former pitchers in JP Sears and Luis Severino in that series. So should be interesting. And like I said, pumped to watch that over the weekend. Before we get to the Mets, I believe we had a couple more comments here.
Yeah, dude. We actually have Adam coming in from YouTube here who says,
there we go.
Missoula is by far the dumbest coach in the NBA, dude. What do you think about that?
I mean, listen, they were talking Dave was talking about it. He was saying that, I don't know if you heard this, but he said that he thinks, I think RJ and Ray could coach the team and they would have won the championship last year. And I don't know, just doesn't think that he's doing a good job. So, it's hard to rip him too much being that, they won the championship last year, but clearly, he hasn't done a great job in this series so far. So be interesting to see, how does he recover? Does he wilt from this point forward, or do they get back in this series? We'll find out this weekend.
We will find out this weekend, dude. That's for sure. And then we also have Jay Bird. Speaking of this weekend, says, how about that? He says, In regards to what exactly?
I think the
The
Knicks.
Yankees?
I think
Oh,
the
the
Knicks.
Knicks.
I think
Okay,
the Knicks.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
makes
because we
sense.
know he's a big Mets fan, right?
He is, dude. Yeah, he is.
No, I was actually being serious though because obviously yesterday he's talking about he's routed for the Knicks, the mental aspect. So yeah, he's jacked up.
Absolutely, dude. Ernie also jacked up. Says beautiful game
Ernie.
yesterday. Love being a Yankee fan. Unsung hero in Trent Grisham having his Yankee moment. And Escara as well having his Yankee moment, dude. We have Josh B with the Yurdy call out, dude.
Yeah, no, and I agree with all that. Ernie's pumped up, and this was just an exciting series, and against a team who knows, you could see in the fall. That was my prediction at the beginning of the year. There's a lot of talent on this Padres team, so that's why it feels good to win this series. You feel like you're really past a huge test because it's not easy to go against not only that pitching staff, the lineup, but that Padre bullpen. So let's go, Ernie.
Absolutely, dude.
And then what else we got from Jay?
Jay Bird, Nixon 6, he said bing bong out loud on the plane last night after they won, he says. Coming back from Florida, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah,
let's
dude.
go.
Jay's been drinking.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's
yeah,
hammered right
dude.
now.
Probably.
I mean, why not, right?
Right?
I mean, I'm sure you probably felt like, just starting the show with a couple this morning, no?
Yeah, that would have been great, dude. Oh, boy.
And I know there was more, besides that Nick win for you to celebrate yesterday, the Mets taking the matinee against Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely, dude, which was great to see here. As we mentioned, similar situation, the parallels. Yes, Brian, Mets here trying to also win their series here in the third game. And they did exactly that, trouncing on the Diamondbacks 7-1. A little late night action in this game, or I guess you could say late night contact, you could say, or I guess in this case, early evening contact. Is what the Mets saw in terms of bats on balls here. We did get the Kadai Senga start here. Coming into this start, Brian, Kadai Senga had about 31, and not about, but exactly 31 strikeouts on the year, 21 of them coming from that ghost forkball, which is great, obviously.
Must have learned it from Daisuke.
Must have, dude. Yeah.
The gyro.
Dude.
The gyro.
And obviously fooling a lot of batters with it. Hence, all those strikeouts with the forkball. But we do get started here, top of the first. Merrill Kelly, who has been actually terrible in first innings of his outings. That's really where most of his trouble gets into, is that first inning. I forget what his ERA is in the first inning, but I think past the first inning, his ERA is like a 2.5 or a 2.4, something like that. But in any case, here he does get 3 up, 3 down to start the game off. So obviously, as a Met fan, you look at that stat, you kind of thought maybe some early Met action, but no, dude. The Mets actually get some early action on defense, actually, dude. Kadai Senga leadoff walk here, bottom of the first. 7 pitch at bat, nothing crazy. Corbin Carroll, he's a good batter. He works the walk, good for him. Does get caught stealing second, though. Terrence with an absolute bullet to Lindor. Terrence getting the start behind the plate, and I think we've still seen the advantage of having him behind the plate is certainly his defense. Obviously, he has some good situational hitting as well. But to throw out Corbin Carroll, I should honestly look at how many steals he's gotten caught. But in any case, after that 1 out, Perdomo fouls out the third. Then gets nailed a ground out, and working the cutters, the ghost forkballs as well to get those ground outs. And then I was mentioning the great defense here. We're gonna go bottom of the second here. So you got Suarez who does again another leadoff walk, tough at bat for Senga nonetheless. He gets Gurriel to strike out swinging on that forkball. Love to see that. Suarez, who's on first, with 1 out here. You got Thomas up at the plate, ropes a double, to center field off a 4-seam fastball. Was kind of like middle in, but was able to pull it around. And then here we get some great defense. Taylor with a great cutoff throw to Lindor, and then Lindor absolutely on a rope to Terrence, throws out Suarez at home, which again, I think is great to see that defense, with your backup catcher, with Terrence, to have that locked down. Obviously Lindor, with the great throw from short, that literally saved a run. So you have to see that defense great early on here. And then I guess we'll get to some of the offense, which wasn't until the top of the 6th here. At this point, Senga, Kelly, obviously nothing game. So both of them are pretty much humming. Kelly, like I said, good pitcher. Honestly, resembled much of Gallen's start, to be honest. I think he had he's probably throwing like 6 different pitches, just mixing them up, locating them well. Obviously, you get some of the Met batters here kind of guessing what's coming up next because, like I said, throw 6 different pitches, kind of tough here. But finally, someone gets to him with 1 out, nobody on, a 4-seamer, kind of a little bit on the outside, but hits the barrel of Soto's bat. He ropes it to center, 427 feet, okay, to make it 1-0, just like that. So we'll have to see that. Keller gets out of the inning. Next 2 batters, Alonso, Nimmo, all ground out. All right. And then top of the 7th, here come the Mets again. I mentioned a little early evening action, and Terren's good situational hitting. Leadoff double here to center. Beatty ground out to the pitcher, but Terren's is able to go to 30, moves up. So you like to see that 1 out. 1 man on, and what Acuna ropes a single to center. Just some great contact here. It was a curveball that didn't curve enough, and I guess Acuna, guessing correctly on Kelly, was sitting curveball. Like I said, hit it center. Trent scores, makes it 2-0. Acuna then gets to work in his office, steals second immediately. No throw. What are you gonna do? Acuna, the speed is great. McNeil ropes a triple to center. Acuna scores 3-0. So once again, we do see the bottom half of the Mets lineup: Terrens, Acuna, even McNeil here. Getting some things going offensively. So you'll have to see that. That was the end of Kelly's night. If you look at the box score, his final line is 6 1/3 here, 6 hits, 301 earned runs, 6 Ks. There's that 1 home run given up to Soto through 98 pitches. Obviously, the D-backs trying to stretch him a little bit there, but it was too much for him in the 7th, only able to get that 1 out. Beeks comes in, gets the next 2. We move on to the top of we go bottom of the 7th. Kranick comes in, does give up a single, but does get out of the inning here, gets Marte to ground out to end the inning. So Kranick, after, I guess, some kind of shaky-ish outings, does get a good inning under his belt. Beeks back in here, top of the 8th. They make some defensive substitutions. Nonetheless, Soto here leading off the inning, a 2-pitch at bat, a cutter, 85 up in the zone, ropes that one to left field. So 2 different types of pitches, same outcome for Soto. Second multi-home run game. I guess that was his 8th of the year. He's starting to heat up here, which is great in terms of, the long ball, which is awesome. Unfortunately, though, in this inning, Alonso does continue to struggle in this series, strikes out looking for the first out. Then you get Nimmo grounding out. They do pull Beeks to bring in Castillo, who walks to Renz, but then Beatty grounds out to end the inning. It's 4-0 going into bottom of the 8th here. Kranick still goes out there, gives up a solo shot to lead off the inning. First pitch slider, no slide. Corbin Carroll waits on that one, eats it up at 91, takes that yard, I think, for his 7th home run of the year. I have to double check there. Perdomo then reaches on infield single to 3rd. Hate to see that. And then Kranick does get Smith to strike out swinging on a slider. Finally does get that slider to go. That'll be the end of Kranick's night. I mentioned how good the bullpen has been. Kranick, though, pitches an inning and a third, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, just 1 K. So not a great outing for him, but still for Kranick, who you didn't expect much from him, I guess, is still pretty solid. And the 9th inning, Mets continue to tack on here again. Bottom half of the lineup, getting things going. Castillo's still in there for Arizona. Acuna does line up to first, but then Azakar and Taylor both work back-to-back walks. Azakar, in the meantime, also steals, well, I guess he's still second. It doesn't really matter. But Lindor ropes a double deep to left, dude, in the corner, bouncing off the wall. Azakar and Taylor, both speedy runners here. They both score, makes it 6-1. Soto continues to tack it on. Sack fly RBI to left to score Soto, makes it 7-1. That's the end of the scoring here for the game. Static in the 9th, 3 up, 3 down. Keeps his composure. You love to see that. Mets win the series, go into the off day. Soto with a solid 2-for-4 game, 3 ribbies. Obviously with the 2 home runs as well. Love to see that. So a great end, I would say, to this Arizona Diamondbacks series here. You win it. I think you're 2 games above the Phillies, so you're in the first here in the East. And you do go into that off day feeling good. You get the Cubs coming up. So obviously you want to be well rested and dialed in. Cubs obviously leader. They're definitely on the first in their division.
Most runs scored in the majors.
Most runs scored in the majors. Is it the Yankees? No.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, but I know the Cubs 5-5 in their last 10. Kind of some shaky
Lost
starts.
their last 2.
Lost their last 2. Their run differential, I don't think, is that great either. So they're winning these games, close games. So again, you take that with however you want it to, but it is going to be a tough series as they are a good team. They can hit. They do have some good pitchers. So
actually, one run difference with the differential than the Mets. So it looks like, let's see,
the run differential.
Yeah,
Mets are at plus 50 something. I thought
59. Cubs are 58.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else then, I guess.
Yeah, the Phillies plus 19.
Oh, the Phillies. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The Phillies, I guess. So in any case, you got that series coming up. So you want to obviously get ready for that, dude. But obviously, Mets humming 10 games over 500, ahead of the division right now. I don't think anyone really would have anticipated that. And again, that's, with 2, you're kind of working through some injuries, unfortunately, some bullpen guys, about the stars who are still hurt. And you get these guys like Kadai, whose ERA is probably like a 1.3 now. Obviously Griffin Canning as well. Who are doing things for the first time in years for a Mets starting pitcher. You're getting a lot of good looks from these guys, so you want, hopefully, those good times can keep on rolling, and Soto continues to get hot is what you're looking for, dude.
Big litmus test at Citi Field this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. You're home. I'm sure the attendance is going to be pretty high. It's going to be a good series. Like, you're going to want to show up and show out for sure, dude. Like you said, a good litmus test here for this Mets roster.
Now, did we update the picks?
No, I haven't gotten to an updating of the picks.
No, I
dude.
went 1-1 with the Yankees.
Yes,
the under. But then
good hit.
Past that, I just wasn't sure.
So it looks like you took also the Royals in the under,
which I believe hit, right?
Which definitely hit. So that is 2-0 right there, which brings you to 3-1, and then Dodgers and the over. I feel like Dodgers definitely won.
Dodgers won.
And definitely on the over.
I want to check that out.
Oh, man, that's always tough. She went to the Gamecast, went to the box score, scrolled down. 10.5, dude.
And I had the over.
Just on the over
5-1.
So
let's go. There we go.
There we go. There, dude, making up some ground. Let's see. For me, I had Mets and the under, which I believe was 8.5. Let's see, was 9.5, dude. So that's 2-0 with the Mets. And then let's continue to see here. I had the Nats and the under, which, like, what was I thinking there? I was thinking 0-2 spot, dude. So that's not good. And then I had Phillies with the over 7-0 with the shutout. I want to say that hit on the under. So that's 1-1, dude. And then that'll bring me to 3-2 on the day.
3-3 or 4-2? Which one was it?
Oh, sorry, 4-3.
4-2.
Sorry, no, no, 3-3.
Yeah,
3-3.
These odd numbers, Tony.
I mean, dude, numbers, dude. So hold on, I had the records written down here somewhere, dude. What the hell? Where did I write down the records? You were 34 and 32. So obviously you're 39 and 33.
Which sounds a little better.
It does sound better. And then I'll put Tony here. He will be 41 and 31.
41, 31, and then 39 and 33.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does.
72.
All right.
And then what was it? So May 15th, is it or no? I think should have put. I think you wrote that down at the start of it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. May 15th here. Let's see. Sportsport. When did I start taking these notes? Could I? No. Really? Has it been this far back? No way, dude.
I mean, that's 70-something picks.
Yeah, dude. I guess, yeah.
By the way, good morning, Donna Lee. Always good to have
you with
us.
Oh, 5/16 I have.
Okay, so 8 days.
8 days left. Wow, that's quick, dude.
Yeah, so basically a week from Friday.
Basically a week from Friday. Let me write that down, too. We were 5/16.
But so an exciting time in Major League Baseball. Obviously, the only tough thing is today. But I think it's much
days.
needed. The off days. So we got to deal with the monogamy of the rest of the league, but I think we'll do our best. And I think you're batting leadoff, Tony, right?
I believe I am batting leadoff.
In
dude.
another 6-pack MLB pick segment brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm.
Right, you are, dude. So let's get this kicked off here. You mentioned it. Mets and Yankees both off today. And I think we don't get that very often, but you know what, dude? Let's focus on some hockey tonight and other baseball games around the league here. And let's start off. I guess I'll go with the Royals. Why not, dude? I mean, they're facing off Kauffman Stadium at home against your Chicago White Sox. Classic fade the White Sox spot here at 2:10 p.m. You got Bubic on the mound here, 1.98 ERA, 3-2 on the season. Only 2 home runs given up in 41 and a third innings pitched. And I guarantee you he gives up 0 home runs tonight. Looks like a couple guys on the White Sox do pitch well against him, but give me a break here. Kansas City looking to continue their undefeated streak, by the way, against the White Sox as they, I guess, cap off the 4-game set. Interesting. And I see the Royals do it. Bubic, who we've seen over and over, 3 games so far in this series. Pitching has dominated all games, going on the under. The over-under here is 8.5. Once again, give me Royals under. They win, I'll say 4-2. Nice and easy, dude.
All right. And speaking of nice and easy, the Tigers should have it nice and easy. 8-6 they won in extras over the Rockies. I don't think it'll be that hard today. Game 1. This is a doubleheader. I guess they had to rain out on Tuesday, off day Monday. But you got Casey Mize up against Kyle Freeland.
Really?
Mize has been great. The former first-round pick, 5-1.
Great.
2.70. Might want to write that down on the notepad. Casey Mize, former first-round pick of the Tigers, just in case it ever comes up. Anyway, Freeland has been anything but 0-4, 5-7-0. I don't know how he's still pitching for Colorado, who's 6-29 this season, Tony.
Not good.
So I think it's a bloodbath. I think the Tigers take this easily. Mize, I think, even at Coors Field, will go 7 strong, only allowing 1 earned run. The Tigers win 9-1. So give me the Tigers in the over.
Tigers and the over, dog. And good shit there. I guess I'll go next game. Let's go to Atlanta. Why not here? Braves also finishing up a 4-game set against the Reds. They're looking to shy away from the split here, win this series. They lost the last night 4-3. We do have Schwellenbach on the mound, 3.92 ERA against Nicola Dolo, 3.27 ERA here. Over-under at 7.5, kind of low, honestly, for my taste, I suppose, even though, hey, you look at it, those 3 games did hit the unders here. But I say we get a little offensive explosion here. Not to say these 2 pitchers aren't good, but I think I can see Austin Riley going deep. I can see Austin Hayes going deep for the Reds. Ellie De La Cruz, maybe getting on base, bring in some runners, who knows. So I think Atlanta, at the end of the day, they walk it off, bottom of the 9th. I said Riley, why not keep it? 9th home run, walk off, 2-run homer will make it 8-6. So give me Braves and the over for my game 2.
All right. And speaking of game 2, I'm going to go back to Coors Field, back to the Tigers Rockies. I think they're going for the doubleheader sweep. We don't even know who's pitching for the Tigers. Tanner Gordon for the Rockies making his season debut here. Same story. The Tigers, one of the best records in the league, best run differential, I believe, too. I think they're going to get it done here. I think it's going to be nice and easy. Maybe they give up a couple more, being that, it's probably an opener or someone from AAA. But nevertheless, I'm going to say the Tigers will win game 2 here, 7-4. So give me the Tigers in the over.
Tigers in the over on
Game
both games,
2.
dude. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Dude. What's the over-under on those games?
10.5.
10.5. I guess it's not too bad for Coors. In any case, dude, I guess I'll go to Angel Stadium, I guess. Give me Bassett and the Blue Jays. Why not, dude? Bassett, 2.2 on the season, 2.95 ERA. You look at his unit as a collective here. Does give up some runs here. Got knocked around a little bit against the Yankees, against Houston. Did get a win against Cleveland most recently, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, I guess. Strikeout stuff is kind of low, but I think he can service himself through the LA Angels roster here. I think it's going to be early and often, though, offense. Bassett can maybe go 6, 3 earned runs. And then I say the Blue Jays put up 5 themselves on Soriano, to be honest. Blue Jays in the over. Bang.
All right. And then for my third and final here, we're going to go to Boston. And come on, we're going to Boston. We're not taking the Boston Red Sox. What are we talking about here? We're going to go with the Texas Rangers. Both teams similar records. Texas 18-19. Red Sox 19-19. Brian Bayo has actually been good this year after being a train wreck the last couple. 2-0, 2.55 going against Jack Leiter, son of Al, nephew of Mark. And he's been uneven this year, 2-1, 4.58. And you look at this series, and the teams have split the first 2 games. Rangers lost yesterday. Boston, lost the first game 6-1. And I think this is going to be kind of an offensive showdown here. I think there'll be some balls flying over the Green Monster, a 135 start from Fenway Park. And I'm going to say Texas outslugs Boston here, winning 11-9. And how about this? Jock Peterson, who is hitting 133, no homers this year, is going to have 2 home runs, including the go-ahead 3-run homer, bottom of the 8th inning, or top of the 8th inning off who? Aroldis Chapman, Tony. So no stranger to giving up big home runs, but Texas and the over, just like that is your 6-pack MLB picks here on a Thursday. So, like we said, no locals. We'll get through it. Fantasy, set your lineups. You already know the
early
deal.
Games, watch out.
But also, I see Ernie here. What's he talking about?
I don't know, man. I hope Ernie's feeling all right.
Yeah, right?
He says, Barnes, my Band-Aid bandit brother.
Almost like a Kev Do, scrambled message in there.
Right? And then he goes, Tony, my cauliflower conqueror brother. How the hell are you guys?
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I'm great, dude. Let's go, Ernie.
And he's riled because we're going to do another edition of the Immaculate Grid. Been a little bit of a struggle the last couple of days, so I'm expecting a better performance here.
Okay.
A little bit of a mixed bag, some teams, countries.
Actually, mixed bag is a good way to describe it, dude.
I think we're going to come through with nothing but success here. And I would say start out playing shortstop for the A's, top right. Jed Lowry, I believe a former Met, got a big deal, played 2 games and got $20 million or something.
Classic Met
3%.
move, dude.
There we go.
For A's Angels, dude, I guess
I was going to say Bartolo Colon.
We could do Bart for any 3 of those A's with anything.
Oh, right.
So I don't know maybe what you would want to do. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm pretty sure we could do JD Davis, A's Angels.
Honestly, I always think of JD Davis on the Mets.
Right. But after that, he was shopping a while.
Okay. I mean, whatever if as long as you know he was on both teams, go with it.
I wonder if they put JD Davis.
There we go, Tony. Nice.
Baby.
How about this? Played third base for the A's, was infamously traded. The A's acquired him for Josh Donaldson when he was in the midst of his prime. Brett Lowry. So we have Jed, and then we have Brett. How about that?
Nice, dude. There we go.
And speaking of Josh Donaldson, how about played third base for Cleveland?
There we go. That's a good one. I feel like people may not think about that one.
Good old
2%, dude.
2%er.
Cleveland Angels.
Got to think about that one for a second. But I feel like something that people won't be thinking about. How about Jose Ramirez playing shortstop for Cleveland?
Definitely not Jose. Wait, what?
It's the top one.
Oh my God! I thought I saw the same exact years.
Yeah, no, that would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How about this? I know this is one of my favorites here. Bottom right, Enrique Wilson, former Yankee utility infielder.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I probably just.
And I don't know if you heard this story, Tony. Mariano Rivera was. Did you hear about this or no?
I don't think so. No.
So he was very close friends with Enrique Wilson. He was on the 2001 Yankees, and he was set to be on unfortunately, the flight that was on 9/11.
Oh my God! Really?
And because the Yankees ended up losing that game 7. He changed his flight and wasn't, or no, it wasn't 9/11. It was a different flight that crashed in the Dominican. Because they lost, he went home earlier, didn't go on the flight and survived. So Mariano Rivera always says that he was his like close friend, and he said it was meant to be that happened.
That is really wild, dude.
Yeah. So unbelievable story there. So I'm gonna say middle bottom here. How about Edwin Encarnacion, a Matthew Gabriel favorite?
Encarnacion. Nice, dude. 0.8. So we gotta do Bart for one of these, right? I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna say
Orlando Cabrera.
I got a good one. How about Jose Suarez for the Angels, born outside of the 50?
Born outside of the 50. Jose Suarez. 0.1, dude.
That's
nice.
What we like. So I guess Bart, right?
You think it'll be too high?
I mean, I don't know what our other.
I know. Was Bobby Bonds on?
I'm not a Bobby Bonds aficionado.
All right, let's do Cologne.
I mean, pretty solid there, Tony.
Yeah.
36, right?
Yeah, no, that was
26.
26 was Bart.
Oh, man. All right, but still, 36 I think is good given what had transpired. You could see what else was the option there.
Let's see, dude. Players who played for Angels, Guardians here. You got Frank Robinson, Finley. I guess let's go to this.
Chuck Finley. Wow, I forgot about that name.
Oh yeah, there's Bobby Bonds. Rocky Bridges, Orlando Cabrera, also Jose Cardinal. Yeah, we knew about obviously Cologne. I feel like anyone like right now, dude.
Right
Jack Hamilton,
now,
Jose Gonzalez, Doug Howard, Tommy John. That would have been a good one. Mark Langston, dude. De La Roche.
Mark Langston, that's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I guess there are a lot.
But listen, like I said, I don't think anything to scoff about, Tony.
No, I don't think so, dude. That was a good one. We did a good job there.
Yeah, absolutely. So another grid in the books. First time in a while, we didn't need Yerny.
I know,
right?
dude. We're growing. We're showing signs of maturity.
Signs of becoming the Swami Junior. But I would say let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Speed, here he comes. McDavid shoots, top shelf, he scores! Captain with the overtime winner! That's the middle, That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping, Rick Washington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pastrnak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So we had 2 games on the ice last night, and we saw in the first one the Toronto Maple Leafs take a commanding 2-0 lead, winning both of their home games there in Toronto last night by the margin of 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch Marner, Tony, the game winner, and just a complete team effort here for Toronto, who has struggled in the playoffs, obviously, for a long time. But we talked about all year the depth of their team. You think about who scored in this game: Pacioretty, Nylander, Domi, and Marner. All guys who have had multiple goals this postseason. How about Nylander? I think one of the most underrated players in the NHL. His 6th of the postseason here. And how about the Maple Leafs, Tony? I mean, being up 2-0 on the defending champs here.
Yeah, dude, it is very impressive with the backup tender too, dude. What the hell is his name? Jonathan Wall, I believe. Joseph Wall. Joseph Wall coming in here. Obviously, we know about Anthony Stolarz, the concussion. We knew there was no way he was probably going to play last night or yesterday. Last night? And Wall came up huge. He had quite a few big saves late in this game against Reinhart. Against some of the bigger names here for Florida. And I mean, like you said, the talent around Toronto is great. This game, which was a crazy back and forth to get things started off. Obviously, Barkov with the goal first here for Florida on the power play. But then late in the first period, the Max Pacioretty, dude, power play goal. his second of the postseason. And Max Pacioretty has a crazy story, dude. I don't know if you know, but he's from New Canaan. Drafted first rounder, not Maple Leafs, Montreal. I don't know, maybe 17th, 15th year in the league. Came back, tore his Achilles twice in the past few years, jumping around teams. Toronto.
Crazy.
Exactly, dude. So to see him and to have, I believe it was a wicked backhander too he had, to score that first goal, get things rolling for Toronto. And I think really that first period was, somewhat of a precursor to what we would expect to see the rest of the game, the back and forth. Start in the second period, Brad Marchand does what he does. Pesky player, gets to the front of the net, finds the puck, finds the back of the net. And then, it was scoring left and right from there. And not for nothing, I know this is, Toronto's up game 2. We're talking about close games here. It still is Florida. They've been down before, okay, and they've forced a game 7, won that game 7. But, I still think this series could be close here. Not for nothing, Mitch Marner, that goal, I don't know if you saw it, but he was in the blue line, dude, and he was just figured, again, like as we've seen so many times, because goaltenders, defenses, the level of play is very high here. A player decides, hey, I'm just going to throw to the net and see what happens. There's a bunch of buys in front of there. That's exactly what happens. Bobrovsky kind of screened, didn't really see anything. You hear crossbar, and then you hear the horn. So I think at this point, any of these games could still go either way. But you do have to tip your hat to Toronto. Both these games kind of fell their way. They are a team that are winning those little battles, those 50-50 battles on the boards. And that's the difference maker here. Because, you look at the team stats. Shots on goal are similar. Hits are similar. Power play opportunities and conversions are similar. So by no means is Florida out of this, but you are definitely impressed. Toronto up 2-0. They're a team that's gelling for sure, dude.
And speaking of a team that's gelling, how about the Dallas Stars going up 1-0 last night, taking out the Winnipeg Jets here 3-2.
Yes, dude.
And it's amazing too. Actually, I think, Rick and Dave were talking about this morning, just the impact that Mikko Rantanen has had on this Dallas team. 7 goals in 8 games so far with Dallas in the postseason. Unbelievable, no?
Yeah, obviously a huge guy in terms of knocking out Colorado, his former team. And it is crazy. Rick and Dave were talking about, Rantanen looking to take a pay cut in order to stay with Colorado. Colorado said, which Colorado is paying a lot of guys, but they said to Mikko, hey, man, we're good. We got McCarr. Landeskog is coming back. We got McKinnon, obviously, too. And unfortunately, Rantanen here goes to Dallas for Colorado and then obviously knocks them out. I believe this is his second hat trick of the postseason. Absolutely, as we would say, paying dividends for the Dallas Stars here, which again, I think, you can point to him being the difference maker. Robertson out. I mentioned last year, a lot of their stars for Dallas, no pun intended, did not show up in the postseason. They had, tough games. Robertson didn't really have many points. Rupe Hintz maybe had a good game or two, Robertson, like I said, is still kind of coming back. Obviously not having a lot going on, but Mikko Rantanen, 5 shots on goal, the hat trick coming in the second period, Brian. Did you watch any of this game?
This was during the late night contact window for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, honestly, for me, it was worth to stay up, honestly, because the first period was crazy. This was another game, crazy back and forth. Honestly, a tale of 3 different periods, in my opinion, because the first period, Dallas goes up 9-1 on shots on goal, dude, for the first 10 minutes of the first period. By the end of the first period, Winnipeg was up 12-11 on shots on goal. So Winnipeg wakes up the final 10 minutes of that period, and they continue to wake up. Early second period, Nico Niederreiter, a tremendous, I think maybe he had the backhand goal last night that I was thinking of. But in any case, a great feed from Mason Appleton. You find Niederreiter in front of the net, puts one past Ottinger there, go up 1-0. And then from then on, it was a Mikko Rantanen show. Dude, that first goal, I think it was a one-timer. It was wide open. Bang, past Hellebuck. Second goal was a tip-in. He was battling in front of the net. You love to see that. Third goal was a shot that deflected off of a defender from maybe top of the circle, close to the blue line. So Mikko Rantanen, attacking from virtually any point of the ice here. Like I said, he was the major difference maker here. Obviously, Dallas still had that team effort. The first period, good defense. They did fend off a lot of shots here from Winnipeg. Third period was the fucking Ottinger show, I think. The last 2-3 minutes, Winnipeg did pull the goalie. They had the man advantage, and it was Ottinger came up big multiple times to keep Dallas in the lead here. I was mentioning yesterday, Hellebuck, good numbers at home. He had a great game, all right? He made some great saves too, but obviously, couldn't control what Rantanen was doing. Some of those goals, the tip-in ones, you can't really control that, But nonetheless here, they're going to have a difficult time. I mean, you take a game here from Winnipeg at home here, about their record on the road. Maybe they'll split at home. Again, the way Dallas is playing, though, they could even take the first 2 games, So I think Winnipeg's in trouble. They're going to have to figure something out. They have to, again, I mean, I know Rantanen's great. There's the Dallas team is good. They are a full team. You're starting to see that way more. At least I am way more in this postseason. But Winnipeg has to find a way to keep their defense in check here.
Yeah. But to me, I don't know. I mean, obviously, sure, there's a chance, but I feel like Dallas in 5. I mean, it could Winnipeg's just not ready for this.
It doesn't seem like it. 0 for 4 in the power play last night. Yeah. With that firepower, a man advantage, like you got to figure out better ways to get past Ottinger. 29 saves last night, dude. 935 save percentage. I mean, he was going to work last night, that's for sure. Earning that win. So, Winnipeg here has to figure out a way to start scoring, play better defense or something. Because I mean, again, Hellebuck at any point could lay an egg again.
Yeah. And then you have 2 teams tonight hoping to not lay the proverbial egg here, as the Capitals and Golden Knights lost game 1 at home. Back in action tonight. I would imagine you're anticipating bounce backs on both fronts there, or I mean, what are you thinking?
Could be. I can honestly see the Capitals losing.
Really?
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's just playing the Hurricanes, watching the Capitals specifically here. It reminds me of when the Rangers would play the Hurricanes. And it's like, yes, maybe you'd beat them in the series. You guys would wake up, but it's just like you're playing with fire when you play this type of game where you almost, I wouldn't say let the Hurricanes do this, because they are, they're hard enough to defend, but they're just having so much puck possession, so much offensive zone time, so many shots on goal early on that the Capitals last game were kind of banking on just like, Thompson being the tender that he is, maybe, having a couple of good saves here, maybe a couple turnovers, a couple mistakes that Carolina will make, which is literally a couple, 2. And then to try to make a rush going on the opposite end, not necessarily having a sustainable offensive shift or anything like that. And with that, like I said, you play with fire, okay? Because you're on very, very slim margins of error, okay? Anytime you make a mistake, Carolina will capitalize. And, playing so much ice in your own zone, I mean, a turnover is a goal, essentially. That's
no ice.
Exactly. No ice, dude. That's exactly what happened, game 1. Capitals were kind of hanging in there with the Hurricanes, but they were letting them play their game. And then, turnover in front of Thompson, and they score. And I think it was Svechnikov maybe with the goal in game 1 with that one. But, I mean, it's like you can't really do much of that. I mean, if the Capitals want to win this game, they have to take full control of this game and not let the Hurricanes play their game at all. Move your defenders up to the neutral zone. Make it hard for the Hurricanes to move the puck. And on the other end, you got to move the puck faster than you have been in game 1. So if I were to pick it up, I'd say maybe the Capitals. But, I mean, it's hard to say here because, again, both of these series kind of look like maybe the underdogs are going to take this one because the Oilers, I mean.
I thought you were down on them.
I mean, of course, I am down on them. I mean, they are an incomplete team. I mean, dude, if they had a good goaltender and some better defenders, I mean, they'd probably be a number 1 seed, a favorite team to win the cup, but they're not that. They're relying on third period, maybe playing with fire themselves. They're relying on third period comebacks. If Golden Knights want to, win this one, they got to keep up with the Oilers in that third period for sure and really not back down. I don't care if Mark Stone comes out this first period like he did game 1, score back-to-back goals, go up 2-0. It's foot on the fucking pedal, and you don't relent. You can't let the Oilers seemingly have a 3-goal deficit even in the third period. You just can't take that for granted. You have to have that foot on the pedal the entire game. If the Golden Knights do that, they can win this game because, in my opinion, they do have a better team. Jack Eichel had like 1 shot on goal, albeit he had, I think, the 2 assists on the Mark Stone goals. But I want to see more offense from Jack Eichel. Utilize that superstar, and that would be their key to victory, I guess. Because obviously I could sit here and say, stop McDavid, stop Draisaitl, better defense all day. but that's way easier said than done here. So I would say Golden Knights, rely on your offense if you want to win. Capitals here, play your own game, move the puck faster if you want to win. Regardless, I've been, last night I was like almost a reinvigoration, almost like for you, Brian, with NBA, watching this high level of play, these close games, even though there's been great games all over NHL in the first round. But even more so yesterday, I think it was great. There was some storylines, some teams, some players to root for. So, albeit some exciting hockey to be played.
I think, though, we're destined to see the Oilers Stars Western Conference Finals. That would definitely be fun.
That would be wild.
As well as potentially the Capitals and the Maple Leafs, or the Maple Leafs and the Hurricanes. I think those would all be great series. I do think, though, Capitals will bounce back tonight. I don't think Ovechkin is going to go down 2-0 at home. And then, the Oilers, we mentioned all the comebacks, the record this postseason, so much room to run, Tony.
A lot.
I think they're going to make minced meat of Vegas. Kind of had a weird year, even though winning 50 games. I feel like there were just stretches, games that they should have won, they didn't. So that's kind of my thought there. But we'll see. Doubleheader there on ESPN. And then, other than that, we talked already, obviously, a lot about the Knicks win last night. What was just unbelievable. Like we said, Saturday is going to be great. And, basically, I would say if the Knicks win Game 3, it's going to be a sweep. I mean, you just once teams get down 3-0, they just lay down, and it's just unbelievable how the Celtics have done that in the fourth quarter of the last two games. But all the enthusiasm from Knicks fans, you understand it. They are in the driver's seat, and who would have seen this coming? Who knows where this will lead? So I'm excited, like I said, for Saturday. A couple of days off here in between. What's Jay saying?
He's saying he's excited for Sauce Gardner, All-Pro, he says.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know about you, Tony, but a little tight on Sauce. Had very high expectations, great rookie year. I think this is a big year for him. I think they just picked up his fifth-year option. But, I think he's been underwhelming. I don't know what you think. I mean, that lack of interceptions for a guy drafted, fourth overall?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been, honestly, the story of Jets defense, I think the entire year was a lack of interceptions. But, yeah, specifically, you're looking at Sauce to get those interceptions, at least lead the team in them, which I don't know who did. I guess it could have been him. But still.
I don't think he had any interceptions last year.
I think you may be right. I think the Jets had like 2, honestly, as a team.
Which is just pathetic.
Abysmal. So I think it is a big year, but I will say, as we say, Brian, the sophomore year, always a little slump-ish.
No, I think that was his third year.
Oh, is it his third year?
Yeah, because this is his fourth year. They just picked his fifth-year option, yeah.
Oh, my God, you're right, dude. So not good. Not good, dude. But, hey, new coach, defense mentality, the Detroit Lions here. I think maybe you'll see a turnaround this season. Jay Bird says he had 2, by the way.
Yeah, I just wanted to look up. So it must have been 2 years ago. And he says he's dating Ice Spice, which I don't know about that.
Really, Jay? That can't be right.
But just wanted to see here. So they didn't have the Pro Football Reference. Then you're giving me bad stats. So it was one interception last year, Jay. No interceptions in 23. So look it up, as he would say.
Maybe a confirmation on the couple's cozy photos here.
So that's kind of interesting. And then the Thunder, I kind of felt it bouncing back 149, Tony, to 106.
You felt the Thunder?
Over the Nuggets. I think we might be in for a long series here, but the team with the best record in the league bouncing back.
87 points, Brian.
87 in the first half, I believe.
Ridiculous.
A record?
That is a record.
So unbelievable. So we'll see when that series resumes over the weekend who will take charge. And speaking of taking charge, a most likely Stephen Curry-less Warriors team in Minnesota looking to go up 2-0, 10.5-point dogs. So tonight in Minnesota, I'm sure A-Rod will be courtside. You think the Timberwolves even this up? Or?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like Anthony Edwards did not have a good game 1. Kind of talking some smack, not good. Golden State without Steph Curry, the hamstring, we know. I say Edwards has like a crazy game, goes off. I don't think it'll be easy. I mean, Draymond Green's been killing it, obviously. We know about the Golden State again, the warrior mentality, the winners. But I say the Timberwolves even it up, right? I mean, come on.
A-Rod riled, or maybe a beer chug on the sideline.
Does he have it in him, you think?
Or you think he still goes special diet? I know at one point he used to bring his food to the restaurant so they would cook it.
Which is kind of wild, dude.
Well, it's A-Rod,
a crazy move, though.
Yeah. I mean, think of the chief of all chiefs.
No, yeah, that is a chief move, dude. Craziness.
So we'll see what happens there. Truist, I think, underway. First group playing the first hole, so no leaderboard update there. But Myrtle Beach, we mentioned Joel Damon, the bottle. He hasn't teed off yet, but Andrew Putnam leading there 6 under through his first 15 holes. And then you also have Watney, Fox, Power, Toasty, and Chandler all at 500 par. So scoring a-plenty on the Grand Strand there. So we'll see, how Joel's able to perform. Aldrich Pote-Getter, whatever, 3 under through 14, started on the back. Also, Kevin Kisner playing in this tournament as well. So we'll see if he can make a cut. Has been really focusing on the booth more so than the golf game. But we'll have to see. We'll talk about the Truist round 1 tomorrow. And then, other than that, I think we're really, caught up. And at this point, it's just about, resting up and, focusing on these weekend baseball series for the locals.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Big hockey games on tonight. Come on.
Yeah. There's some hockey on tonight. So,
are you going to watch it or?
Probably a little.
Rather watch the NBA at this point.
No, the Knicks, yes, but not the NBA. It just, you know what it is, Tony? It's like both. I mean, even with the Knicks, obviously, like I'll keep track on my phone, but it's just lack of urgency. Like I will if time allows, opportunity. But it's like I don't feel like I'm missing something if I'm not watching the games. It just the Rangers. I mean, it's just the knife into the stomach. I believe in Sully. Honestly, I really do. And I think it's going to be a rebound season. Gabe Perreault, Rookie of the Year. Book it.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I do agree. I concur.
So, let's see what happens. But that being said, here we go again. Another great show. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page. Michael Renee. NJ costume. By the way, Quenneville is going to coach the Ducks. I just saw that. So
wait, really
interesting. Yeah, the former Blackhawk champion, scandal, all of that. But
good for the Ducks, I guess.
We do appreciate that as well as Jay and costume, all of the archives, right? And we want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.